Welcome to Heathen's Garage, folks. We are carrying on with part 3 of this transmission rebuild. Well, folks, look at the pieces we got today. We got a shift kit, we got a valve body, we got the wreck pump, and we got the case. Now the case is just sitting here for aesthetics. You know, we're not hardly even gonna look at him today probably because I don't have a die grinder in here to smooth the case off and do the things I wanna do. Anyways, it's just here for show. The pump, I just wanna show you up and close, which we'll do in a minute here, because it's our smoking gun. It's what failed. Well, for sure it failed. Maybe it's not the only thing, but I wanna we'll talk about that in a second. The valve body is what we're going to take apart today, and our shift kit is what we're going to look at. Now we also have the torque converter, and I'm kind of thinking maybe we'll just cut him open anyways, because at this point in time, you can't really trust anything that came out of that, and I don't have the technology to test them, and it's a stock converter anyways. It's not worth anything to anybody to sell, because you don't know if it's good or not. So we may as well cut it open and look at the insides, because that seems like a thing to do. In the meantime, let's start by looking at this thing, which means I need to be behind the camera, holding it up nice and close.
Now, I don't know how well you can see it, but there is a heavy groove right here, see?
And that is from this gear, which sits in it like this.
Sitting there being forced into the case half. That's just chewed it all to bits.
So this, at least for sure, this half of this case is toast. Anyways, I touched on this earlier, but what happens is this part of the torque converter pushes against the back half of this and shoves it this way. And if you don't have enough clearance between your flywheel and your torque converter, or flex plate, or whatever you want to call it, this happens. Now what that also means is I need to be pretty aggressive on the cleanup job, because that's quite a bit of metal. This was like a full flow kind of filter, and it certainly did not catch any of that metal. So that metal is probably mostly in the valve body, which means it is coming completely apart and getting cleaned out. Now we're likely gonna buy a whole new pump, because the reality is buying replacement parts without upgrading sucks. If you can upgrade, then it feels worthwhile and good. Replacing them because they're broken just feels like maintenance. Not big on maintenance.
What do you think, Elvis? Is it a good day? How about you, little bear?
Okay, now we have some instructions here from our good How to Rebuild and Modify, but it does not cover full teardown of the valve body. It covers this accumulator, and that's pretty much it. Now it does have some instructions about the shift kit later, which I'm really looking forward to. And actually the reason it had those instructions is why I picked the brand of shift kit I did, because they were in there. But if we just take things apart one at a time, especially if we do it on video so I can look back, should be able to get it back together without too big of a hassle. This one came out first. You can just barely, well, I don't know if you guys can see, but there's roll pins here, there, and there. We're gonna take those out. Well, that's the first one, so let's start with him. Okay, first roll pin, right there. Then this part, he should come out. Ooh, yeah, just scratch the spool, Ethan. That'll show who's boss. Okay, so this is an important one. I can tell because it looks complicated. There's a spring in there. And this little spool. I don't know what's supposed to come out, what's supposed to not come out. Next one. Now it has a spring behind it. Oh, yeah, perfect. Okay, don't lose that spring, Heathen. Spring. This one doesn't come out very nice. We might have to massage this surface here to get this one. It is a little sticky. Or, you know, just force it. That's fine too. Yeah, see, this is really contaminated with itsy bitsy pieces of metal that we need to deal with. That's just the facts, folks. This is dirty. We need to fix that. And I don't think this is necessarily part of a typical rebuild, but you know, what are you supposed to do? Not clean it? Like, that's your option. Either you're gonna clean it or you're not gonna clean it. And in this light today, on a Sunday afternoon, we have decided that cleaning it is the right option. And then we got this piece. Next one, this little guy. Don't know if there's a spring on him or not. Hope it's not a real stiff spring. It's gonna be embarrassing if I send one of these valves right into the side of my wife's, oh boy, car. Don't mess this one up. It looks like a spring inside of a spring with a metal-y thing inside of that. Now that's, oh, there's something else in there. I think a 90-degree pick would be very helpful, but I don't think it'll fit. Elvis, you seem super upset today. Are you upset today? You not having a good day? You seem discontent, Elvis. Are you discontent? Sometimes I think you don't understand what I'm saying. Eileen, you're a good girl, aren't you? There we go. Now we're making headway. That one goes there. Now it is, again, covered with gray metallic schmutz. And that would likely not go well. Given the fact that I can't tell exactly how well you can see, here's all the pieces. And they came out of this. See those holes? Yeah, like that. What else do we need to worry about? There's another thing back here. We missed something. Oh yeah, sure enough we did. We gotta get that out too. He's not interested. Come out. I just have to do two things at once. This one's tricky. Okay. This was from the second hole, which means it lives there. This one lives second hole. Anything else in there? Aside from a bunch of grit in the oh my goodness, I'm glad we're doing this. Yeah, that's not good. There's a lot of gunkies in there. That would not have been a good scene. Wow, look at all the bits of metal falling out. Great. That's nothing like, oh, what a positive reinforcement there. The good news is I think all the holes are different sizes so far. So I don't think you could mess it up too badly. My hand's always dirty. Oh, it's okay, Laura. It's okay. You're fine. That wasn't to you. No, I don't want to use you as a rag. Thanks for coming to see me, but I can't pet you right now. You want some pets? You want some pets? You need some pets. Oh, you need some pets, eh? You were getting bored. You need pets. You need pets. Hey, Elvis, are you needing pets too? Yeah. Oh, you don't want Elvis to have the pet sooner? Just you, eh? Yeah. What are you doing? What are you trying to put my hand in your mouth? What kind of animal are you? You're supposed to be nice and gentle. You need a toy out here? Is that what it is? You don't have anything to play with? This is a drawer from my wife's nightstand. It's gonna work great. Oh, did you want more pets? Hi. Now, I see that we've got another roll pin right here, which means there's another thing to remove. Oh, it comes out this end. Okay, and there's one here. And there's this plug and this, little aluminum thing. Put your thumb over in case there's a spring there. After all, your thumb's indestructible. There we go. What I've done here is I've just pushed it back a little bit and jammed my pick in there so that at least the spring load is not against the pin. There we go. That makes the pin easy to take out. Now I can catch everything with this one so that my thumb isn't in there. Just pop this out. Very delicately let everything up. Oh. Okay. Now let's see what comes out of there. This one first. Oh yeah, covered in junk. Yeah, there's no getting away from that. Also, I think it might have been in backwards. Oh, good. Don't know what order that was. Hopefully it's clear on the video. That's why you shouldn't dump them out. You should gently work them out. Oh, it ain't matters. I'll tell you that one for free. This is gonna be a pain in the neck to figure out. I'm gonna have to use the internet, pictures. Spin corner. That guy. This guy. You having fun with that 2x4, Elvis? What do we see when we look with the flashlight? Now, since we've got all the guts out of this, we may as well pull this accumulator piston out. And, well, the book had a couple good options of ways to do that and tools to build, such as clamps and sort of U-shaped things. And then it also said channel locks. So I've got my finest pair of channel locks and a pair of vice grips. Kind of funny looking vice grips, but they're doing the job. What we're gonna do is squeeze right here with the channel locks and push on the other side so it goes down nice and even. Just like this. You probably can't see what I'm doing. Okay, come on, a little further. No, we can get these on here now. Yeah, just like that. Oh wow, I swear I got these to clamp earlier. I did this in advance so that I would look like a professional, you know. Ugh. Now there's an E-clip we gotta pop off of there, which should be pretty relative simple like. E-clips are called E-clips because they look like an E on the inside or something. Stop trying to escape. Okay, now to release, which I haven't tried yet. This is new. Vice grips are not the best at gentle release. Okay. Accumulator. Look at it. It's got a piston ring. Oops, missed. Oh yeah, there's a lot of junk in there. This was a clean pail before I started, and it's got a lot of gray junk in the bottom now. It's gotta be close to clean enough, right? Maybe take this over and blow it off somewhere. Just trying to blow air through all the ports, make sure all the junk's out, but it certainly looks a lot better than it did before. And in our little world,
maybe a lot better is good enough. Hey, Elvis?
Well, now would be the time to look at the shift kit, wouldn't it? While everything's apart. That would make sense. Look at this. There's probably so much glare you can't even read that, eh? Engineered for performance and designed for durability. Made in USA. This is a Transgo kit. And I don't know a lot about Transgo other than they're an old company. My book actually came with instructions on how to install a Transgo kit. So they must be okay. This is the 400 Pro reprogramming kit with gear command. It says trans removal is optional, which I think is interesting. Let's see what we got in here. I have no idea what it includes. Okay. Transmission pan gasket in cork. Valve body gaskets ×2. I did read about that. They include 2 sets of gaskets in case you have to take it apart to drill your holes bigger. They say stay on the small side and go bigger if you want different shifting. Heavy duty and high performance with class. Look at, that's Gil. Gil Younger, he's the guy. There's a lot of words here. Tells you all kinds of stuff. Oh, I like the cartoons. Oh, look at this. Isn't that cool? It's got a new snap ring. And it's got its own valve body plate. We've got, oh look at that! We've got it's got its own accumulator, so it's good we took that out. And a different style of rod and different spring and stuff. Oh, it came with a sticker. Cool! That's a neat one. Oh, it came with, yeah, see, this was definitely worth leaving it apart for, because it's got some of these bits and bobs. And more springs and cups and seals, and it came with drill bits and balls. More springs and springs. Ooh, this is, tell you what, this is stressful now. I'm gonna have a read, and we'll be right back.
Elvis, we are making headway, buddy. Yeah, we sure are.
Things to note. One is, if I haven't said it already, we have a new accumulator and ring and spring. So that'll be going in, which makes it worthwhile. At least we pulled that out. Number 2, in order for gear command, we have a new one of these, which is just, you know that I don't know what I'm doing already. Just give me a second if I have to look up every word. This is the 1-2 valve, okay? Get a 1-2 valve. Now shift command. Shift command means it will never shift out of first gear unless you tell it to. And also, if you pull it into first gear, it will go. Regardless of what your engine wants to do. If it needs to see 6,000 RPM or 16,000 RPM to go into first gear, it will go. So we're putting that in because that doesn't seem like a recipe for disaster at all. Which brings us to our channel of the week. I'm standing in front of a Jericho 4-speed and probably a Saginaw, whatever the worst GM 4-speed was, because the gear command in automatic starts to act a little bit more like a manual, less a clutch. Not unlike how Rich Guido and Bill Armstrong tend to shift their stick shift manuals on the Clutch Burner podcast. I realize that we're doing an automatic rebuild at the moment, but it wouldn't be right to not say something about Stick Shift Nation. Now, that is a podcast hosted by Bill Armstrong and the Canadian Chuck Norris, Richard Guido. It's awesome, and it's actually like one of very few podcasts I listen to regularly and don't miss episodes. I'm completely caught up at the moment, actually. So if you got the time and you want to hear a podcast about some stick shift guys who know stuff about stick shift racing and who interview people who know stuff about stick shift racing, that's your place to go. Check them out. Links somewhere. Alright, back to gear command. I'm not gonna lie, I wish I was fixing a manual right now. That made me sad thinking about that Jericho transmission. It hasn't even been in anything since I've owned it. It's just sat on the shelf. Oh well. Anyways, step number 1 on shift command. It says to install the 1-2 valve that fits in your valve body. For us, hang on, let me get the picture the same as their picture. We gotta go in this spot, and we want this valve. Now it comes with a different one. That one I'm assuming means it fits in a different valve body, but not ours. So we're gonna put this one in. So this part is what I'm taking out, and we're replacing it with this part, all right? So we take this part, and then we got, not that part. No, where'd it go? We got ourselves a little bit of ETF, just to lubricate it. Drop this one in. Why don't we pour the oil over this, Heathen? Why doesn't that make sense, eh? This drops in there. We gotta make sure everything moves nice, right? Because if it doesn't move nice, I can promise you one thing. It probably isn't gonna work. Make sure the spring goes inside of it, and the whole work slips inside. Okay, now this only fits one way, right? Right. Ooh, all the pins got mixed up, hey? I think it's this one. This one seems to be exactly the right length. Came in there. That looks right. Nice, there we go. Everything moves nice. We're good. A little bit of oil on there. I would rather it be lubricated than make a mess. Or I would rather it make a mess and I don't want it to get rusty is what I'm trying to say. Now there's a little tiny baby plug that you're supposed to install on the other side. So you flip this bad boy around. Which, by the way, big perk to using a plastic table here, don't really have to worry about damaging anything because the plastic's going to be the soft part. So we got this little plug and it goes right here. You get it straight and it says just install it with a small hammer. So I guess I'll get a small hammer. Small hammer coming up. Hey, did a thing. Hope that's the right distance in. Does everything still move? So, that still moves. That still moves. I think that means it's installed. Okay. Place your valve body on the bench with 2-3 accumulator hanging out. This is the 2-3 accumulator. Knock the pin out. Okay. We're just going through the shift kit step by step here, and we're going to do everything that's got to do with the valve body while we're here. Use a 3/16 punch and knock this out. Shouldn't I grind it off first? I expect they know. Now we might have to switch to a real workbench here in a second because I don't think this is really a workbench, but ooh, this is scary. I think we're gonna switch to a bench. Okay, truth be told, I knocked this out already, but I didn't have the camera rolling by accident, so now I'm doing it just for pretend. I knocked it back in. But it looks kind of like that. You take your 3/6 punch and you just, you know. That's it. Nothing complicated there. That's the wrong pieces. That's the wrong pieces. Where did I put my new accumulator? I'll tell you one thing for free. Now this spring is way heavier than the old one. And this is quite squishy. It's also shorter. This is quite not squishy. So that's neat. Now it says install E-clip on new threaded pin. Here's an E-clip. Okay. Oh, I see. It wants me to drop it in like that. Thinking I should put this piston on. Install metal ring. Yep. Is there upsy daisy? Doesn't say. Any marks? Nope. Don't worry about that. That's fine. All right. That goes there. That goes there. Oh, I see. Now I don't have to fight. Get a little bit of lubrication on this. Oh yeah, put it everywhere, Ethan. That'll show it. Oh yeah, a little bit there everywhere. Okay. Now, everybody don't worry for a second, there's just a train. It's like Mary Poppins around here. Snug this up. Make sure you get the piston in there properly. It doesn't say those words exactly, but that's the idea. No, you just pull it in with the wrench, I guess. It's quite a thing. Also crooked as can be. Why is it so crooked? Oh, because everything's crooked. Never mind, it's fine. Well, we're gonna tighten it up more, I guess. I don't love this, if I'm totally honest with you. I was okay with my vice grip thing. It wasn't scary to me at all. This is scary to me because I really have to pay attention to the ring at the same time, and I can't show you guys what I'm doing because if I do that, I'll wreck something. And you guys are great and all, but I'm not wrecking stuff on your intentionally for your benefit. Okay, I do wreck stuff for fun, but I don't do, like, this is not one of those things that I would wreck for fun. Oh boy, that's stiff, I tell you what. All right, now it says zip that off. So I'm gonna just cut that off quick. Be back in a second.
Much less noisy now, isn't it? Okay, this is nice, the snuggles, Luna, but I need to be further forward, girlie. Good girl. You're okay, you can stay here. You can even stay under the table if you want.
Okay, where were we here? Accumulator is installed. Now I went ahead, I cut the threads off like it said. I also just went ahead and center punched them because I don't want this to come loose. I think things would go wrong if that came loose. So we just went ahead and center punched that. It's not on the instructions and maybe it was a terrible idea, but realistically you should never be taking that back out because you just take it off the same way you took the other one off. So I don't know. Now you're on to second accumulator valve, 1-2 shift field. Install the springs recommended, then make a road test. If you want to make a shift shorter or longer, just drop the pan, remove the pin, and change the outboard spring. Now the good news is I took all this junk apart, right? And the reason we're not scared to do that, even though I'm clearly not going to remember, is because for a Turbo 400, which has been around for a while, let's be honest, there's some pretty good information out there. So if you need a blown up picture, it's easy to get one. So this went there. Whoops. This is this hole, right? No, it's right here. Okay, so that, and then there was supposed to be a spring, but there wasn't, was there? There should have been a spring. Oh, it's just an additional spring, I get it. There wasn't supposed to. Is that what the picture shows? Mine was like this. Okay, well, mine was like this. That's what mine. Apparently there's 3 different ways this could have been. That's not complicated at all, is it? Elvis, did you get bored already? But you were barking to come in. You were so excited about it.
It should be more like Luna and just lay at my feet and be happy to be here.
Then find spot that matches inboard end of valve. Find spot that matches inboard. What do they mean? You sure about this? Is it this blue spring or that blue spring? Well, there's no white on. It's not this spring. Oh, good. Good. Took the wrong spring pack apart. That's more like it. Blue spring, green, yellow, red, orange. Is that what colors I have? Well, orange, red, yellow, green, blue. Install skinny blue inner, then find spot that matches inboard end of valve, then install outer spring shown. Oh, this is a guide. Okay, if I wasn't so dumb, it's not even that hard. So it's not orange, it's not red, it's not yellow. This is a guide. Okay, now I understand. These little dots, okay, if you have to do this, you have your valve, and these little dots show what size it is. You line this size up, then you pick your spring color. Okay, not that hard, Heathen. You just gotta be smarter than the stick you're dealing with. Or whatever. Spring down the hole, oil on this. That down the hole. Yep, that's got a spring on it now. Now we add another spring. That looks better. Okay, that's all making sense now. Are you leaving, Looney? Are you sick of it? Sick of it? Why are you sick of it? I'm not allowed to be sick of it. How come you're allowed to be sick of it? Whoops. This is the best hammer I had in my hand.
We'll just pretend that you shake. Elvis, can you shake? There is only stick, hey? There is no shake, there is only stick.
What? You want to fight? You want this end? Sticks aren't that tasty, are they? Good boy. Oh, that was a yawn, not to try and bite the stick. Good girl. It's funny to me, like, there's just a little friction holding that in. That's it. There's no positive lock on that. That's scary. Now what? The hole sizes in the separator plate are the primary adjustment of shift firmness. Most effective way to make a shift firmer is by making the feed hole in the plate larger. That's option. Separator plate. Assuming they're talking about this new one that they supplied. I really enjoy these instructions, but I think I'm not smart enough for them. I got 2 drill bits for some reason. Where am I drilling these holes? Am I supposed to use 2 plates? Is that the deal? What is 3 plates? 3 plates? Oh, this is 3 plates. Idiot. Okay, now I understand. This is a triple plate. What's the point of a triple plate? Separator plate. Now this is the original. Let's hold them the same way so it makes sense. And this is the replacement. Now this is 3 times as thick. It's a triple thick. It's got like some ported holes that you get to drill out yourself, just depending on what you want for shift firmness. And it lives there, just like that one, but it lives, you know, instead of this one. So it'll sit on there like that. There's like 3 little holes that we gotta drill out, or not drill out, depending on what we want it to do. We're gonna be pretty conservative because we do drive the thing regularly, and it's, well, they like to call it lots of class, as in it's smooth. And I like to think of it as comfort, because driving something that actually has like a full metal jacket shift kit in it isn't that pleasant. Like when you just wanna, bang, bang. That isn't that good. You know, you wanna be able to drive normally, at least some of the time. So we're gonna use the smallest holes, and if we want to, we can always drill them bigger later, right? So they supply a few drill bits. They don't supply the size that I actually want, but they do supply the size smaller, so we'll use it. All right, now which holes are which here? Don't drill out the wrong one. Now that would be embarrassing, right? This one is number A. Range number 1, passengers, police, taxis, van, limos, light trucks. Smooth and even with lots of class. Range 2 is motorhomes, heavy trucks, street rods, and huge tires. 3 starts getting short above quarter throttle. So we want like 1-2 kind of situation right now. So we're just starting off light with number 1, because I don't have a drill bit for number 2. That's it, done. Hole is drilled. Now, hole number B. Don't drill hole B for range 1, 2, or 3. Hole number C. 3rd accumulator feed size. Range 2, 3, 4, don't enlarge. Well, we're gonna do the not enlarge. So that's done. That was the hole. That was it. That's all I had to do with the separator plate because it came with the new one. That was worth paying for. We got modulator valve things, accumulator springs. There is other stuff to do with this, but not that we're doing right now. So now I just gotta put all these valves back in. That'll be a bit of a disaster, but we'll get her done. Let's jam some valves back in. We'll be done with our valve body. Incidentally, if you hadn't noticed this was a clean pail before. And now all that black stuff, that's what was jammed in the valve body that I wanted to get out. Which, I don't know how significant that is, but it sure seems like a lot to me, so I'm glad I did it. Now folks, I did record putting the whole valve body back together, but the reality was, it takes a long time, and I just didn't have much to say during reassembly. And if we really wanted to be helpful, you'd really just look at a picture like this. I stole it shamelessly off Google. You can probably find something similar. And if you can match shapes and pictures, you can put a valve body together.
Alright, buddy. Hi. How are you? How are you, Elvis? Little bear. Hi. Come home from hiding. What are you doing hiding back there, eh? Are you bored and sick of it for today? You don't want to be here anymore? I can't believe you guys. I can't believe you're sick of it already. You want to come up? You want to shake? Shake paw. Only pets, eh? Don't lick me, you filthy animal. Good dogs.
Valve body is back together. I think even in the right pieces. And the shift kit is as installed as we can go right now. So that's a big bonus. Now we do have left to do is cut our converter in half, because I would like to see what the insides of its look like. Because I'm thinking, based on this and what we found in the pan, most of the metal must be in the converter. So we're going to cut it open and see what it looks like. I'm also curious if we find any broken pieces, so, you know. We don't want any rust in this thing, so we're just going to give her a... We're going to let the ATF flow, you know? ATF's really cheap in the scheme of things, so we're just going to let her pour. It doesn't hurt my feelings at all if we waste a bit of ATF to make sure that this doesn't get gross. Just pour it all over the backside. Does prevent any rusting. All right, we have kicked Heather's Challenger out. We've tarped off all the transmission parts, and we have a torque converter to cut open. People that do this for a living put it in a lathe. I don't have a lathe. I do have a grinder and a zip disc, so that's what we're gonna use. Now, if you ever happen to be doing this and you want to save it, I think you cut it just sort of right where the weld is, and that's the goal. And then the two halves will split. We're not planning on reusing this or trying to save it because it's not special, but we're gonna do something along those lines anyways. Well, let's put this thing in ground mode first. It always goes better. Now, before anybody gets too upset about me completely destroying this converter right in front of them, the reality is I have two more just like it, sitting on a shelf that don't have metal in them. And also, it's just a boring stock converter that's easily replaceable. Because even though it's for an AMC Turbo 400, it's just a Chevy Turbo 400 torque converter. Now, all that being said, I did bumble up the cut quite badly, and essentially this is a rendered useless converter now. Whereas if you'd been a little more careful and done it a little more properly, you could have had it welded back together. Alright, who wants to see the inside of a torque converter? Give that a little zip too. Alright. It was supposed to come apart slightly different than it did, okay? Yeah, see this? You're supposed to cut it different than I did. Oh well, I didn't. So if one complain about it now. That part looks like that. Yep. This is the part that drives the transmission. This part's called a stator, I think. If I remember right. It's got a one-way clutch in it. And the one-way clutch still works. That does torque multiplication. This is a Torrington bearing. And this part drives that part. Now, aside from the fact that there's a bit of rust in here, which you may or may not be able to see, well, see, results are now inconclusive because I cut this open with a grinder, right? So now all the metal I was hoping to show you on the inside, because I cut too deep, is all mixed up with the metal from me cutting. If I'd cut the amount I meant to cut, which is, I don't know if you can exactly see, if I cut through here and not through this part, then you would have been able to tell what I was talking about, but I should have cut it up here. Anyways, I cut it wrong. So now you can't exactly see what I'm talking about, or what I wanted to see even. Like I can tell you there's a whole ton of metal in this, but you can't tell if that's the metal from the pump or the metal from me cutting it. So that was, we'll put that in the completely pointless category actually. Other than it looks like we cut a completely, perfectly fine torque converter in half. That, folks, I guess is the end. Because, you know, now that we've got a tragic ending to our story, we're going to call that the end of our episode. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate the subscribers. And hey, hopefully sooner or later we'll be putting new parts into this thing and it'll be going back together instead of further apart. That's the goal. Why did I fold my arms? I don't do that. Thanks for watching. Bye. Oh, my pants are all dirty.